We are just going to ignore the fact that I'm already covered in paint. I've just primed all of this room, covered up some of the paint samples and a lot of the plastering spots that we had to do, ready for it to be finally painted. Our upstairs rooms have been put on hold for quite a few months, especially as the weather got nicer. We spent a lot of time outside in the garden. However, I have not had an office space to work from pretty much this entire year, and very inconveniently I went self-employed in May, and since then I have been working from home, just in my living room from my sofa, and I actually think I'm going insane doing that. So it's time for us to finally figure out my office space. We already pretty much finished the other room, which is now going to be our bedroom. Originally, this room that I'm standing in right now was going to be our bedroom. However, when we moved everything over, we realized we sleep much better in that room. We're gonna rewind, look back on all of that progress, hard work, and then we'll get back to real time and work on this room. I don't even know if you can see me all the way from over there. I definitely can't see the screen. But either way, hello. Welcome to this room in our house that has been, it's been through it. And for a long time, it's just been looking like this. The main reason for that is that upstairs, Ryan has been reskimming the ceiling. So now we are ready to paint the ceiling and to paint the walls and to paint the skirting, the architrave, the coving, just anything and everything. I have gone through some samples from Farrow and Ball, and we settled on Schoolhouse White, but I did not want to pay for the Farrow and Ball paint. I know it's meant to be really good, blah, blah, blah. I'm just not willing to spend that kind of money. So we got the knockoff version from Johnston's. So they've colour matched the Schoolhouse White for us. Same for the skirting and stuff like that. So that's what I'll be using. However, before I do any of that, I need to move these shelves into the room, maybe move a couple things into the bedroom, and then I can finally paint. I've been putting this off for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. I don't really want to be doing this. I can think of 1,000 other things I would rather be doing, but the need for an office and a working workspace has become quite imminent. It is the next day and the paint is looking pretty good. It's made a huge difference. The light in here is so nice. It's not as like stark. So weird how colour theory works, isn't it? Because when I saw the swatches and when I started painting, it just felt so dark, but then it dries a lot brighter. And also once everything is that colour, you kind of forget what it looked like before. Like this just looks like a white now. Unfortunately, I need to do another coat on the ceiling. I was really hoping I wouldn't have to. And I'm going to do another coat on the skirting and also on the door. This desperately needs another coat. And then I should be done in here. I'm basically just going to repeat exactly what I'd done in the other room. I'm going to start by painting around the coving, painting the coving. Then depending on whether the primer is dried, I'm going to do the ceiling. If it still needs a bit more time to dry, then I'll just do the walls and then I'll do the coving and the doors last thing because they have like a satin sheen. The ceiling probably will need 2 coats. It did in the other room, which is terrible because I hate doing the ceiling. It genuinely kills my neck, but it will be worth it. And then I can finally move into this room next week, which I can't even describe how excited I am for that. It's very needed. I learned in the last room that audiobooks are the best thing for me to listen to when I'm painting. It's the only thing that I don't go insanely bored with. So today I'm continuing to listen to Book Lovers by Emily Henry, which I have to say is a very fun audiobook. Ideally for painting, I need an audiobook that is like easygoing and fun. And this one definitely is. I'm gonna pour some paint in here and start going around the coving. It is day 2. I thought I could get everything done yesterday, but I need to do a second coat on the glossy stuff. So the skirting and the doors. And also the coving's looking very strange. I think it's because we had to do a lot more plastering in here where the plaster is just like showing up a lot darker. And I think I forgot to prime around the coving as well. So I'm gonna do the coving in the normal paint. Luckily, I don't need to do a second coat on the ceiling, which I'm very happy about because that's the hardest part. But the ceiling came out really, really well. I did it a little bit differently this time, and also Ryan did the plastering a lot better on the second ceiling. In the other room we used a different primer, and this primer that I used in here worked much better. It's the bin primer, put a picture here. Works wonders and don't need to do a second coat, which is great. I think there's like a few areas that I just need to touch up around the skirting and stuff like that. It's the plaster, it's just a pain. I thought I would get it done early this morning, so by the time Ryan finishes work later, he can move all the tools out of the room and we can fully empty it, so then maybe today or probably more likely tomorrow. Finally move everything around, which that is the more exciting bit to show you guys as well. We have an impromptu furniture edition which we just picked up from our neighbours who were giving these away for free. This was literally in the house opposite us. Now it is a little bit beaten up. It's nothing that I can't work with. I think I'll give it like a nice lick of paint or something. But for a long time we've been running out of space for all of our books. And also we have been kind of struggling to figure out what to do with this corner in the living room. So this is where the rest of the living room is. It's just this whole area, we just didn't really know how to make it flow. These shelves are a lot shorter than these IKEA ones. So I wasn't too sure whether to get them or not. But I think what I'm going to do is do a row of like cabinetry and then put the bookshelves on top. So they're almost ceiling height. And then we can like store the Wi-Fi and all the other bits in the cabinets in front as well. And then this can kind of like go in front of the bookshelf. I think that would look really nice. But now obviously I don't have the cabinets, so I'm just gonna move everything away from there and put the bookshelves there just to get them out of the way. I think now you can see the difference in height. Like all of this I'd ideally like to fill. We can't fill this one because of this section here, and I quite like having the like bits there. I think for this one it would be really nice for them to sit a lot higher. So yeah, we're gonna have like some kind of cabinetry, kind of like similar depth to that unit there, and then I can get rid of this blue thing as well and store everything sort of in here. We can keep our Wi-Fi in there. Everything has gotten out of control very quickly. I started by moving some stuff about upstairs, and I'm now in the process of filling up this bookcase. All the magazines and stuff that were in a box that I found upstairs. I'm really uncertain about this situation because I'm worried about putting my books on there. In the morning, the sun really shines through here, and I don't want things to like yellow while they're on there. I guess the solution to that is to just like keep the blinds shut until the sun has moved around, which in the winter wouldn't be that big of a problem, but in the summer there's quite a lot of sun that comes through. So don't know what the long-term plans for this corner are. I'm kind of back and forth between some options, but I can't wait around for me to make up my mind because I had to empty this box, and I'm going to empty it in here. I've just taken the backing out of the shelves. Hold on, I'll show you. Now the shelves don't have a back, and I think it looks a lot neater and tidier. Gonna fill up all of this stuff in there, and then I am also very keen to reorganize the bookshelf here. I originally organized it by like alphabetically by author, but I think I want to do it by like genre now. Before, I've also kept Ryan's library and my library separate, but I would actually be fine with mixing them. Yeah, I don't know if I'll get to that today. Once I have finished down here, I will show you the updates upstairs. It is looking pretty good. The bedroom is looking really, really good. The office still needs a bit of work. I've ordered some blinds for the bedroom, some curtains for the office. I'm gonna get Ryan to help me later to hang a curtain rail, and I also need his help to hang the mirror, and I think then I have a bit more room to move some stuff about. But yeah, let's start with this situation. I've come to the conclusion that I just don't like these shelves. They're doing their job right now. They're holding loads of books. I've moved these things around a little bit. It looks cute. It looks fine. Does it look any better than before? I don't really think so. It just looks different. I do have an idea for this space, what I want here. I basically just want something more wooden, something a bit darker and richer, because everything on this wall is very white. We are going to paint in here one day. It's all kind of dependent on other things happening in the dining room. When we do, then it won't be as white anymore, but still I think there's just too much white going on with the shelves there and there. So I'm gonna keep an eye out for the thing that I'm looking for, very specific as always. Also, I'm looking for very specific dimensions. I'll show you the updated bookcase. I've mixed mine and Ryan's books together a little bit more, and I do think it looks a lot more visually pleasing because my side just looked really colourful, and I'm kind of trying to mute things a little bit more, which is very hard for me because I love colour. We have a row of my books, Ryan's, mine, Ryan's, and then I've changed it up a little bit. I put this print here, which I got the other day in the charity shop, and I also got this in the charity shop, and I also got these in the charity shops. I'm kind of mainly just displaying my new finds, really. But yeah, I just wanted something a bit different, and also I needed to make space because we don't actually have that many books to put books in the other bookcase and in this one. So that way I had a few more books left over. And then in here, we again have Ryan's, mine, Ryan's, mine. Got a little lamp in here still because I do think at night it looks quite nice to have a light shining there. I took all these like toys and stuff, little figurines and things that we had on the shelf, and I'm gonna put them into the display cabinet, which I also got in a charity shop a while ago. These ones, I have 2 of them, and my plan always was to put all our little figurines in these, and they are gonna go on top of each other right here where I once hang the magazine rack, because I took the magazines out to put them on the bookshelf to fill out the bookshelf a bit more. So now I don't really need this anymore, and I don't really love it that much. I really liked it when I hang it up. I don't love it anymore, and I think I'm gonna sell it or give it away. I feel like you're now getting a good idea of like the chain reaction of my decisions, but I'm gonna show you upstairs now. This is where it all started this morning. All I planned to do was move this dresser from the wardrobe into here, and then it just spiraled from there. So the dresser is here now. I really like how it looks here. This print is going to be hung up above the bed. I don't want to do that yet because I don't quite know yet where the bed is going to be, like where the middle is kind of the room, because I do also want a new bed frame and I want some new bedside tables. You know, I'm really not asking for much here, but yeah, I am gonna wait for that. But I think until then, it looks really pretty here. This is the bedroom situation right now. Another thing that we also need to do is hang a curtain here, because that's where it goes up into the loft, and we can't really store anything in there because we do go up into the loft quite a lot, and once the ladder is down, it's like, yeah, you can't really put anything else there, which is a massive shame. But yeah, instead I'm just gonna put a curtain rod and like a fun patterned curtain there. This is the current state of the office. I've made pretty good progress. Honestly, doing this has made me think back to the start of the year when we were moving stuff about pretty much every single day. And I'm actually not surprised we burnt out around that time and couldn't be asked to do any more home renovation because we were actually doing too much. So yeah, I am really feeling a bit of empathy for past me earlier this year. Still need to clearly do some tidying, some organising. I'm waiting for Ryan to come home from work so I can hang a curtain rail at the ceiling and I can clip in my curtains, and I think then everything will look a lot more cohesive as well. I also want to hang the Hobbit mirror on this chimney breast. It is currently leaning against the wall here, but this is where I want to put my like chair to knit in and crochet in. I currently don't have one. I have like a little footstool type vibe that I'm going to put here for the time being, but my plan is to get like a big love seat, but I do want to buy that secondhand because I want to like be able to sit in it, and most of the time secondhand like sofas and stuff are just the most comfortable, and my sofa currently downstairs is so comfortable to work in that the competition is very high. I considered ordering like one of the Dunelm chairs, which are gorgeous, but I looked at some reviews and people were saying that they're quite stiff and you sit up quite straight, whereas I want one that's like slouchy, I can like fully sink into. So another thing I'll just keep an eye out on. One day I'll find one. And yeah, I also tidied the wardrobe in there a little bit. It's not that interesting. I can show you in case you can't remember. This is the wardrobe room. It ends up being our storage room continuously, so it's quite nice to have a bit of space. I need to give this a good hoover, and then there's not really much else going on in here because I honestly know us, it's just going to become a storage ground for like the next week at least anyway, so I'm not going to put too much effort into this. I was just going to head out the door to go knit at a cafe, and then the delivery man was stood outside my door with my massive corkboard that I ordered. This has been on my list to get for the longest time. Like, this was one of the things I was very certain on that I wanted in my new office, and I ordered literally the biggest size. So I am excited to see. I mean, it's not that exciting, it's literally just a corkboard, but it is massive. Like right here, like that. I have to watch this footage back to see if it looks good, but that was kind of my plan. Ryan is finally here to help me drill some bits in the wall. So first we're going to do the mirror. So I ordered some curtains from H&M, the same ones that I'm using in the wardrobe. They were like a sheer off-white brownish colour, and I hang one of them up. First of all, I ordered the wrong size. They were too long and they were not wide enough. don't know how that happened. I hang one of them up and I realised that I don't want sheer curtains here. It works fine in the wardrobe because I don't mind seeing the clothes through it slightly. But I really don't want to see any of this mess in here. Not even like a little bit. So I am sending those ones back, and for the time being, because I do just really want to cover all of this up, I hang these back up, which I used as curtains for these shelves in our old flat. If I can find a picture from back then, I'll put it here. So these are really long because the way I used them in the flat was actually the wide way. This is just plain gingham fabric that I ordered. I attached it here. So now that it is lengthwise, widthwise, upright, I don't know, you can see the line across it, which I don't love. And also there's like a bunch of fabric still at the bottom. So once everything is clean, hoovered, wiped away, I'm going to just make a clean cat at the bottom, because I don't know if this is what I want forever and ever. It's mainly because I don't like the top that much. So maybe actually before I cut the bottom, I'll buy the tape to maybe turn these into proper curtains. I don't love the line across it, but it's also like not the end of the world, I guess. I don't know. I could always line it up properly and sew it properly. So yeah, actually I am just going to do that. I won't cut it just yet. We finally have a light in here. Ryan just installed a light in here and in the bedroom as well. And I didn't realize that the cord that I ordered, like the new light fixture, you can pull on the cord to make it longer or shorter. So I pulled it down a bit more and I love it. Like I like how low this is, and it does look really nice with the curtains. I'm just sat in my new office, in which I'm completely obsessed with. I'm editing this video actually, and it made me think that I get a lot of questions about the music that I use in my videos. And I've tried loads of different programs over the years that I've now done YouTube. However, over the last few weeks, I've been trying out Musicbed, and I've actually joined their Friends of the Brand program. So you can now use my affiliate link to get a 14-day free trial of Musicbed. What I love about them in comparison to like all the other music websites that I've tried out before is that their music is really authentic. It feels really real, and I always really like using the like jazzy kind of music, and all the musicians in Musicbed are just incredible. So yeah, definitely make use of the link. I'll leave it in my description box again if you want to get a 14-day free trial and just see for yourself the kind of music they have on there. It's genuinely amazing. As you can see, I've so far not been pinning anything into my board, but I really love the brown of that with the blue curtains. I have actually ordered the curtain backing, which I was going to do today, but I've run out of time, so I'll do it in the next house video, which there's obviously a lot of stuff that still needs doing. I thought I would just give you an update of how everything's looking. So we obviously have my office here. The curtains are really growing on me, so I'm definitely going to keep them. It just adds a bit of like depth and colour. And the mirror is on the wall here, which is really nice. It just reflects loads of stuff back into the room. I've hung these the IKEA like Roman shades. I have a bunch of them sitting in that corner as well. Actually not long enough, but my plan is to take one of those curtains and just add a bit of length. For now, I'm mostly just keeping it sort of halfway up anyways. Still no luck on the chair. I have been looking on Facebook Marketplace and the vintage shops and stuff, but I'm very particular. I'm very particular with the size and the comfort of it. I'll put a picture here for what like my ideal chair is. So yeah, my standards are very high, but I know I'll find it eventually. I've got my suitcase here at the bottom. I've been packing for a trip I'm going on tonight, which I will of course share with you. It's gonna be very cozy. As you can see, I'm bringing a bunch of yarn and loads of books to read. Yeah, that's how everything's looking up here. And then I can show you the bedroom. I've just closed the blinds so I can show them properly without also showing the outside of my house. I really wanted some real wooden ones, but we don't have the budget for that. So these are just kind of like a plastic PVA solution. Maybe one day I'll change them to the wooden ones, but for now, these do the trick just fine. And they add a bit of like depth to the room as well, because again, everything's very like white and beige. Then nothing has changed too much. This bits are still here. But then I very randomly found this one singular curtain in the charity shop. There's one of the loops missing, but I don't really mind. And it fits the space so well. It is kind of puddling up the bottom here. I guess I could trim it, but I'm not like 100% sure if this is what I want here. I was kind of thinking about something a bit more colourful and patterned. But yeah, for now, it's doing the trick and it's hiding all of the mess. Well, it's actually not that messy, but yeah, it doesn't look the prettiest back there. So this covers it very nicely, and I just got this curtain rod from Amazon. Ryan also attached another light at the ceiling here. This is actually another free find from our neighbours. Someone just put it on our WhatsApp group. So I got 2 of those, and they create like a really nice orangey type light, so that was pretty handy. Just for a bit of reality check, this is what our staircase is still looking like. I genuinely never notice it, to be honest, but I just think it's a nice realistic insight into what a house renovation ends up looking like. And I've put the second lampshade from our neighbours up in here as well. So then the last thing I wanted to show you is these cabinets, which Ryan filled up. We actually have a bit more room, which I think has encouraged him to buy more little figurines. But this is literally like the cutest thing ever, and obviously it's quite handy to have them in the cabinets because they don't get so dusty in there. But yeah, it's very cute. It's a nice little conversation starter as well when you have people over. It's very adorable. And that is basically all of the updates from this video. Like I said, there's loads more stuff that we obviously have to get done. The last thing we need to do up here is the wardrobe, which Ryan has already made a start on, and then we want to get the garden like winter, autumn ready. So that's kind of on my to-do list for when I'm back from my trip. But I can't even describe how good it feels to have 2 of the rooms like fully done. There's nothing else we need to do up here, which is such a relief. It's just amazing. Thank you as always so much for watching. Hopefully I will see you in the next one, and until then, goodbye.